Let's continue our show, Development Code, which is about art and science. Here in Latvia and Unknown Latvia. Those are two of the books written by Latvian environmental researcher and scientist Guntis Seniņš. He has spent his whole life studying Latvia's beauty and riches. His joie de vivre and optimism are unique, and we sensed that when we visited him near Dobele. Guntis Seniņš has done a lot to establish Latvia's independence by shedding light on Latvia's environmental treasures and often defending them. That used to be the case with Latvia's massive oak trees, which the Soviet Union wanted to destroy.
Es biju tas, ka tajā 78. gadā.
Back in 1978, I wrote an article in the newspaper Soviet Youth about how the big trees were being blown up. That created a huge scandal, and thousands of people wrote letters in response to my article. The newspaper had never seen anything like that.
Tas avīžu daļas vadītājs padomu jaunatnē, kas ar padomu jaunatnes nodibināšanu tur strādāja, viņš saka, nav bijuši tādi cilvēki vēstules tur. Un es taisījos iet viņas lasīt un to
I wanted to read those letters, but I couldn't, because the KGB confiscated them.
Skatīties, kuri kaut ko pa daudz pārspīlēt uzraksta un tā.
Guntis Seniņš has published some 1,000 articles, written several books, and staged several photo exhibitions. The main thing is that he created a system to evaluate caves, massive rocks, and massive trees, and that can be used to award status to those things. He quickly sees what's unusual in caves and on cliffs, as well as on ornaments on ancient rocks and written signs on cliffs. And of course, he can find that which is unusual in nature with such observations and such love that make people look at these things again, love the way in which to approach the objects, ensure the trail that leads to them, remember them, and tell others about them. For 20 years, Guntis Seniņš worked for the Scholarly Research Institute for Experimental and Clinical Medicine at the Healthcare Ministry, and that is where he first encountered treatments of malignant tumors. His wife came down with melanoma, but Dr. Aina Mucinece provided advice that stopped the disease. After a while, Guntis himself felt sick, and the problem was with his lungs. I underwent every possible examination in every department, and the department director told me, "You have cancer, and it is inoperable." I said, "Okay, I'm going home." She said, "Oh no, your condition is such that we cannot allow you to go home." Oncologist Jana Vecvagare took a different look at Mr. Seniņš's illness and was much more optimistic and without any sense of fatality. A second round of bronchoscopy was organized 2 months later, but Mr. Seniņš at that time had planned to visit California and study trees there. The doctor told him to go ahead and added some golden words. Cancerous cells do not like optimism. That was the formula for the rest of Guntis Seniņš's life. He continued to be excited about nature and took the Rigvīr medication that was invented right here in Latvia by Aina Mucinece. It is a natural virus that finds and destroys cancer cells. At first, it was only proven to be effective with melanoma, but over time it proved to be useful for other types of cancer too. Guntis Seniņš's improved health proves that, though his endless optimism, of course, played a role as well. Perhaps someone up there in heaven gives me a portion of joy. Suddenly I find myself wanting to hop on one foot so that everyone sees how happy I am. I am glad, I am happy, and that has to do with my curiosity, too. It is specifically that curiosity that led the Latvian scientist Aina Mucinece to study ways in which people can deal with malignant tumors. The result was the virotherapy medication Rigvīr, the first in the world with oncotropic and oncolytic properties to be used in clinical practice.